no, what's happened here? Come on, video capture device. Come on, right. That's the wrong camera. There we go, nice and prepared. So guys, session number 23. Only just finished the lesson with a student, so haven't fully prepared for this one, but the plan tonight is to mix down a brand new track that I've pretty much finished over the weekend. Hop in the chat, keep me busy. But yeah, I'll be going through a brand new one, and if you're lucky, I might finish it up and mix it on stream tonight. Might be a shorter stream tonight. It's been a long day. Sizing, good to see you, dude. And right, let's go move over to this one and sort out my webcam. Perfect. Cool. So this is a track I'm calling Omega for now. I stayed up super late on Friday evening, like up to 4 AM again, I think, and made loads of progress on this track. So let's see how it turns out. This is going to be... I've definitely gone very progressive on this track. So we'll see how it goes, see what you guys think. Yeah, it's got guitar, it's got everything. It's a big project. I haven't done this one big for a while. Yeah, 134 tracks, so it's busy. I'll be soloing stuff, but I'll go play through till about halfway. It's nearly 7 minutes long, so it's pretty long. Various tempo changes. I've gone for guitar. I've gone for crazy sound design. I've gone polyrhythms in places. It's a new direction. So cool. That's coming through. So yeah, play it through for a bit. See what you guys think. You aren't ready for the violence. So that's that's the first drop, and I go slower and slower again on the tempo. It was a lot of fun working on this one. This was originally going to be one of the ones I'm working on for the game project, but it sounded very similar to another one that I've done, so I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to release it as a freebie, like got all the mids and stuff done. I was like, maybe try a guitar riff in front of it, and this happened. Tried out the guitar on it, and I ended up writing a crazy riff that took me like a full day to record the guitar, even though it's only just this thing. So you can see all the guitar takes like over here. I really did just need to play it in bar by bar. Like maybe 10 years ago when I used to be a guitar wizard, I would have been able to play this, but I needed to get very creative on how to do the guitar. So if I just go find the guitar take over here, just so you guys can hear it. So this is the melody that I came up with. Not ripped off. I really enjoyed the riff from I think it's Thy Art Is Murder, Puppet Master. And I thought that's a really cool riff. I can rip the shit out of that. And to be fair, they might have done it a bit with Master of Puppets anyway, given the title. But I kind of reverse engineered that, like got the tabs, figured out, okay, so it's just the repeat of, let me open up the MIDI. Of just the hammering the D sharp note and then doing the di-di-di-di, like that pattern there, the di-di-di-di. And then kind of like moved that up and down the neck, kept it in key in different places. And then for stupid bits like this, I couldn't play that, so I played that like four bars at a time. So just recorded that little snippet there, and I'll show you what that looks like. It looks messy. You can see all the various takes here. So this really was just me doing the chuggy bit. I unmute that. So and then just recorded the little fiddly bits in between, and then double tracked all that, so just recorded everything again and did everything hard left and hard right with the guitar. And it's pretty messy in places, to be honest, but I've just layered it with so many other things, it doesn't really matter. So like this bit with a really twiddly section, and this was recording at a slower speed, so got that bit established first, and then once I learned how to play that a little bit better, I recorded it at the full speed. So this is at 130 BPM, then it goes down to 110 where there's no guitar, and then down to 90 BPM. So it's pretty intricate, you can say that, yeah. So yeah, I think the full speed riff does sound a little bit better. It's just I needed to ease myself in, and I got lazy and just decided my first take will be good enough for the 90 BPM bit. So it sounds a little bit dodgy in places where I've had the splice takes and stuff, but I've hard panned it left and right. Did the bass line as well with my gin bass, and stacked it all together. So I fucked up that last one. I am absolutely up for that guitar session, man. Drop me a message on Discord or Instagram or wherever you talked to me last. Whatever's easiest for you, dude. And we'll figure out a date and a time to work together. Yeah, we'll figure something out. For sure, I am down, though. But so yeah, what I've done is just I exported all that to audio, both the left and right channels. You can see here there's the one with the bass, so all the brown stuff is guitars. So if I solo, I'll do just the bass first. Awesome, man, excited to hear it. But yeah, that's just the bass doing its thing, and then the guitar left and right. And I recorded that on the Pointy Jackson. So yeah, a lot of fun playing this one. It's been ages since I've recorded any 6-string guitar, because that's a 7 in the middle and an 8 there. So yeah, it was nice to go back to something a bit thrashier, where my roots are. So that was fun playing that. So yeah, anyway, that all came like last in the project. Like I pretty much did just the first drop, and I was like, yeah, this sounds really similar to something I've already done. So went off piste for the second drop. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is I'll be doing a semi like breakdown of the project and everything else that went into it. I'll be soloing some of these bass sounds as well, because basically there's only about 4 bass layers. So I might do that now, because the drums aren't anything amazing. Like, yeah, I did the metal drums a bit more justice this time, but yeah, so if I solo all of the basses, and the sub as well. Like typical thrashy White Eyes style, relies a lot on like one of my typical patches that I go to, but basically it's split up into 4 layers each time. So if I solo just this one, all I've got is like a stack of, and if I bring up an EQ while I'm doing all this, I'll show you guys like how all the sounds fit together. There's a bit of overlap because obviously it's super fucking heavy, so I need that kind of like real overblown sound in places. So if I just loop the first 2 bars actually. So I focus more on like high end and kind of like grit around there, so there's stuff around all over the EQ for that, so that's kind of like a bass level sound. Then we've got just the harmonics to kind of give the real wavy movement to it. This one, it's in most of my tracks. It's kind of like the typical Harbs chunk one that I've taken from it. So I think if you guys have been watching the streams for a while, this is one of the main basses in my track Harbinger that I've just recycled and recycled and recycled, because it's just, it sounds like me. This is going to be the closest thing I've got to a signature sound of this really high like FM from B synthesis, and I can change the sound super easy by I just thought something with a bit more high end, a bit more kind of like nasal sound to it would be fun. Again, just a ton of distortion, EQ moving away. So I've only got the 1 LFO active, but it's assigned to like 18 things of like everything on the wavetable positions, the detuning, the FM from B amount, the bend on the second synth, on the second wavetable, just everything is all assigned to that same waveform. And again, kind of like adds that push, pull, push, like the sort of chunkiness of the rhythm in this one. So I think I probably started off with that sound and then thought, I like the way that kind of like bounces around the boom 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 off beat kind of thing. And whenever I go for approaches like that, I tend to stack even more sounds together to either add more rhythms underneath the rest of it. If you listen to my track Scourge, I sort of did that, like kept a real simple non-moving bass line, so just a proper like Reese just type of thing, but I added in like syncopated guns to kind of like get the groove going. Whereas this one I've just really focused on that kind of like push pull kind of sound. So everything is pretty much using this same LFO pattern or something pretty similar to it. And then the last sound is the kind of like high end, well, sort of high end. I've totally removed all the lows from here. And again, just more focus around the mid area. So when you stack all those together, so if we start off with the flab, add in the higher so. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, it's there are some artists that get away with it, like, you know, Midnight Tyrannosaurus. He's got an instantly recognizable bass, so I'm not quite at that level yet, obviously, but yeah, you know, I'm trying to find a signature sound, and this patch or a couple of patches might be it. So again with this one, just the real robo-y sound. And again, that one is like way down in the mix, like that's -10 on the mixer, so it's more just the harmonics and everything else that's playing off it. And with the high end thing, no, they're kind of like, yeah, high end, mid, high mids. Yeah, bit of a clusterfuck. So kind of like did that pattern, like got that pattern established with a good stack of sounds. I was like, right, let's do something to end the bar. So I've kind of like got this, again, call and response thing type going. Did another stack with, so flab sat there in the middle, just so when I change to a different sound, it doesn't sound so jarring. And I've done something with them like syncopation here, so that one is again just hitting the same thing as flab. So the 2 1 2 1 2, but then on top I found a new pattern which I was grooving out to this for longer than I should have, of just a, and that's just a different EQ curve. So rather than that thing where it just goes up on the last one, it's the wum wum wum. And then I think I'd done the same up with the, oh no, that's just to kind of like indicate the new phrase. So yeah, kind of like got that 4-bar loop established, and again, this is just a sub. Went for a square wave this time rather than my usual like sine wave, just so it's a bit beefier. So yeah, got that pattern established with just a simple kick and snare pattern. So, yep, just the one kick there. So that's all I did initially, and then I decided it'd be a good idea to have some like triplet time drums, just so it doesn't get the normal boom ka of like boring dubstep drums. So I decided to like add in some triplets. So I could loop that over and over and over again and release it as like trench or rhythm or something, I'm sure, but I decided against that. So for the second bar, done a similar thing, but just ending on, I think I doubled up the time of that little groovy bit. So if I solo this one and this one, I think I just doubled the time, or like set the oscillator, no, the LFO time to, oh no, that's the weep sound, isn't it? It's this one. Yep, same pattern, but I've done 1.5 died. And that's enough to cut through, but not sound totally different. So just play that loop there. And again, sort of made, when I finished all this, I went back and like did the drums a little bit differently each time, so it doesn't just sound like it's a thing on loop, just with a different bass on the end. Next section, just finished it off with a kind of like lo-fi bass to kind of like signal the just a signal at the end of it. I've been good. Work has been busy, life has been busy, but yeah, no, thanks for asking, man. Thanks for asking. I'm all good. How are you doing? So that's the only bit I'm not sure about there, is keeping that guitar in. So if I was to remove that guitar, just the kind of like wind down of the bass, just to give it a bit of breathing room, so it's not just in your face all the time. You need a bit of a break, or otherwise you just gonna end up with a fucking migraine. And yeah, a riser again to kind of like signal the end of the drop. Again, with the call and response thing, I think I slightly changed the flab thing. So again, it's not just the same thing. Very minor variation, but just I think that is maybe like a tiny change to the EQ and where that's hitting, rather than over here. I did it over here. Like that's it. And again, so onto the B section of the first drop, it's just these new bits that I'm adding in. So again, kind of based off all these end of bar sections. I've done that like every other bar now. So I've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Just the kind of like wum wum wum. Oh, sorry to hear that, man. It's always a struggle whenever you struggle with your mental health. Been there, done that. So yeah, hopefully you come out the other side of it. But it sounds really cool on the promotion of the track, man. That's really sick, especially of a tattoo shop as well, man. So yeah, enjoy that. That'll be awesome. I think this is where I go like start stoppy, like give it a little bit of silence in between. So I went like and this is where I lay the guitar underneath as well. Like the mix needs a lot of work on this, probably because there's so much going on. Because we got a ton of bass going on in the drums and the kick drum and the full metal drum kit. Got the sub. Obviously, it's a very bass heavy sound for all these mids here, and the guitar, which is tuned to D, and I'm playing a D sharp as the root note, which is overcrowded in there, and just to give the guitar a bit more of a kind of like, you know, middle ground, I've layered up this same thing. I initially just started off with that riff. I was like, no, this would be much better with guitar. So yeah, that's pretty much the mids in a nutshell for the first drop. I'll do some of the ambient stuff. This was a project that I started like on my old Mac like ages ago. It started off with some Warframe samples. Like I found, I don't know if there's any other Warframe players on here, but I found some really cool vocal samples of one of the characters, Hunho. Is just the processing on the voice just sounds insane. So I like went through and clipped up a load of stuff, and then got like an ambient synth behind it, and came up with a really crap sounding drop. But it was one of those ones that I came back to. I was like, oh yeah, like I remember this one now. But I'll play you some of the audio.
Time has carried my seed so very far from the branch.
So cool, and I'm really tempted to use some of these samples again, but if I'm dropping on Spotify, I'm going to be more careful with where I source my samples from, because I'm already chancing it with the Bible, to be honest, with Rites of Abaddon and Verses of Abaddon. So fingers crossed nothing happens there, but like yeah, I don't want to rip anything in recent media, but just the vocal processing.
Why did you stop at the last?
Just sounds so crisp, I think.
We crossed the gap, wounds and ruin, to bring an end to this. The snare. What was secret is now known.
I think it was probably here in this clip here, like this has got all the drums and shit behind it, so I tried to reverse engineer it and got some shit out of it, but
I am Anho.
Just sounds so badass.
Destroyer of worlds. By your hand, expose their heart. By my edge, cleave it beating from its nest.
Like that'd be so filthy just before a drop, but yeah, I just kind of like kept the static and everything else that I had behind this, and as the idea developed, like I brought in the guitar layers and the whole melody and everything else, and really worked with like this sting thing here. So I think that was mainly this sample from one of my ancient sample packs, or like a recent horror one that I bought. So I tried to recreate that in Serum. Not that successfully, but when it's layered, like it gives it a different sound, and again on top of it just a really thick Reese bass, so all those stacked together sound pretty mean. And again, to kind of keep that theme going, like when the drop is going, I've got that as like a reverse riser thing to signal the track moving into a new phase, or like getting to the end of a block. So here, just worked with that, and again a load of effects and shit down here, just booms and crashes and reverse impacts and shit. So again, loads of like little tiny tweaks on that, like adding in reverb and delay and stretching out the sample or shrinking it a little bit, just so it's all a little bit different. and all of these atmospheres and pads here. So this one, I love it. It sounds gross. Even like the patch is called Alien Insect Infestation and Nightcrawler, like moving this around. It's just noise. It's really noisy and it's awesome. And the rest of it is literally just ambient stuff on top. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun working on this stuff. This is why I love working on like the ambient side of things. Like, it just comes so quickly. Like, having all these awesome VSTs is awesome. That is Alchemy. That was from like, it's the same guys that make Camel Crusher, which have been bought out by Apple. So it's one of those ones that's just baked into Logic now. But it's technically abandonware, so if you search for Camel Audio Alchemy, you'll be able to find an older version of this, which I had before Apple bought this out. But luckily, because yeah, it's all in Apple now, because Apple bought Camel Audio all those years ago. So that's why Camel Crusher is just or you know, Camel Fat has been changed into their multi effects thing here. Like the multi-effects, fat effects, like they've just reskinned Camel Audio stuff, but it's so awesome. Like, this Alchemy synth has got tons and tons and tons of like sounds. I very rarely create anything in here, but yeah, if you check out Camel Audio Alchemy, I think it's called Alchemy 1 if I was to find it in here, but because Apple bought them out, it's technically abandonware, so you wouldn't need to pirate it. You just find the right link somewhere, and fingers crossed it'll work out for you. You might still need to patch it, but yeah, highly recommend checking that synth out, or even switching over to Logic, because Logic is just the best. But yeah, that's the synth. And again, I worked with all of these sounds here. That, like, this is what I started off with. Again, channeling my inner Mick Gordon for this one, of just synths and synths and synths, like hard style, like crazy Reese's and everything else. If I was to move everything down an octave, it would sound better, but I just decided to abandon those and go with just the one instance of it, just to layer the guitar. The more and more I listened to that, I used my Line 6 pod for that, and that was like a Pantera preset, like just called Cowboys, so I'm assuming it's like, you know, modelling the sound of Cowboys from Hell. And yeah, it sounds like Pantera, which is really cool, even with my semi-okay playing. But I think the bass, it sounds a bit too... There's a bit too much high end in it, so that's the one thing that's bugging me still with this track at the moment. Like, it's that sound there that's coming through in the high end is bothering me a bit. But I think that might be something I'll just fix in post. But anyways, that's pretty much most of that done, so I'll focus on the drums for a little bit as well. So like I said, I started off with standard like 4/4, you know, snare on the 3, kick on the 1, standard dubstep beat, but started adding in some metal drums, and I thought it would be fun to do like a triplet feel to the drums. there was no real thought behind the kick placement there. Like, I would like to say, oh, I've done a polyrhythm of 740. I just something weird, and I was just like, no, just do whatever feels right. So yeah, I've basically got in loads of little triplets like this and just snapped them all to the grid, like, you know, gone here and here, and just deleted out the ones that I didn't want. So that was all just like doing just chopping on every beat, and I thought, right, okay, let's delete that. No, that sounds good. Or yeah, that sounds good, let's keep that. Or no, let's try removing these two. So, and again, I've been making metal music for nearly 15 years, or listening to metal music for at least 20, and making it for a little while before I did all the dubstep stuff. So that stuff comes a lot easier to me rather than the sound design sometimes. So it's just one of those things where I just sat there and thought, okay, yeah, that's good, that's not good. And then, as Sizin pointed out, this is a hell of a snare, so I'll break through the layers quickly, so soloing everything. Like, that is a dirty snare. I found one of the oldest sample packs I had and just decided to use it as is, like way low down in the mix, just to give it a nice fundamental sound. Like, that is typical, like, 2010 dubstep sound there, snare. This one, again, is pretty unprocessed. This one is very similar to this one. But I distorted it and added on a little bit of convolve from here, so like kind of like running it through almost like a impulse response thing, and again a trash filter as well. So real kind of like give it that nice harmonics and stuff on there. This one without any processing is one of my favourite snares I've recorded. So this is me recording a load of Foley, stacking up like 3 snares, and I believe this is me hitting a cake tin that I own, just with a knife. So that's kind of where you can hear the boink. It really is just one of those samples I listen back to and I remember exactly where I was and what I was doing and how I recorded it. And again, it sounds ridiculous, but I've thrown on trash again just for some real dirt, and because it was so dirty, I added in lots of EQ to like tidy up the low end. And like really give it its peak there where it's meant to be hitting as a snare, like, you know, around 200, 300 hertz. And all those stacked up together, like I've done another, just done the 2 snare variations in this track. So that'd be this one. And again, I think with this, I shifted, like, got all those stacks of snares, moved everything down a couple of channels. So the one that was up here, like up at the top, I moved down to the one that didn't have processing on. And again, the one that did have processing on now doesn't. So basically, I shifted everything around and did a different channel over here. But if we listen to this snare here, like most of that is the same samples, it's just all been dragged onto a different channel and it's got different distortions applied here and there. I think that's Moth snare, having a look at the name of that. That's from a Moth sample pack. And yeah, just applied on the same channel with that flabby distortion on. So yeah, this is where shit starts to get crazy. A lot of ideas went through my head here, and I'm not sure if it's too long, because like I said, this track's nearly 7 minutes, so this is like the second drop here that goes through 1, 2, 3, 4 different phases. So yeah, it's definitely like more of a prog metal track rather than a death step track. But yeah, I'll play through it all and then I'll break it down. So just to solo that up, because this is what's making it so intense, I think, is just this riser, which is just nuts. And that's basically the same sample over and over again, but I've done pitch shift, so every time it restarts it's like up a semitone. So this one we start like really, really, really intense. Then by the end one, we are really, really hitting some unpleasant noises. But yeah. On. There we go. That's why I look so fucking sweaty and red. Let me switch on my selfie light and turn it down a couple of notches so I'm not so white. I just caught myself in the camera. I was like, oh my god, I look gross. Right, so yeah, riser there, and the initial idea with this was to do the triplets, but on the bass again. So rather than hitting the quarter notes like I've been doing before, or like the half notes, you can see I've got everything split up into triplets there. So sort of a polyrhythm, I guess. But I did half-time drums with that. So if I play the drums by itself, it just sounds real clunky. So I made the cymbals follow the half-time, like the triplet pattern. Again, the kicks on the triplet pattern, but the snare staying on 3 as usual. So it's... and for the next section of the drums, I could have kept that going, but I wanted to do, like, I know that I'm a bit of a prog snob sometimes, so I thought not everybody's going to appreciate what's going on there, and they're just going to think it's going to be weird. So I decided to, like, keep the same pattern-ish going, but just change it to, like, normal 4/4 cymbals. Hold on, just missed a comment. I know exactly what you're saying, Sizin. That will restrict you to a degree, especially when you're trying to be creative and trying to make a track. And not only that, sometimes it will make it a nightmare mixing down. So that's why I do all the creative stuff in this. And then when this is ready to mix, I'll make stems of my project and do a similar thing to you of just, I'll have a kick channel just by itself, just by soloing all the kicks and just rendering everything out, and, you know, kind of like making my own remix stems essentially for my own track. And then that way I'll just be able to focus on, like, you know, the technical aspect of mixing it down. So maybe give that a go. But yeah, I think doing that, it sounds like a good workflow idea, but if it's restricting your creativity, then probably not the best idea. So yeah, so the drums, so this was the weird clunky beat, and then we go over to the but I've still kept the same bass going underneath. So if we play that again. Literally the same. So little transition of 2 bars, and I believe this is the first tempo drop from 130 down to 110. So similar thing of just keeping the really slow, clunky triplet thing. Like this is again with that riser and everything else, and it just getting slower. Like this is like proper like deathcore breakdown type thing. Like this is just super intense, and that's really what I wanted to channel in this track, of just madness. Yeah, it really is one of those, oh Jesus Christ, like this is getting so heavy, and I really like, I feel I've gone a little bit too slow on this. I'll play it through anyway. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this in the final. Just so heavy. So yeah, with that riser that's up like 7 semitones and just at 90 BPM, it's mad, it's crazy heavy. And I decided I'm really happy with this bit. Like whenever I've been going out for any fresh air or just, you know, taking a break from work today, I've been replaying this section over and over. Like we got the super intense thing here, but I bring back the riff. Oh, that's awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's definitely kind of like, those guys were big metal heads as well, so yeah, that was what I was kind of hoping for, to go for like, you know, Cram Cretan style. Awesome. And tempo switches is just fun. It's, again, the metal snob in me being let loose. Yeah, love a bit of fucking with tempo and time signatures and stuff. Drum fill. And that's literally just copying and pasting the like second half of the first drop just in here, but obviously at the slower tempo. This crazy bit you can see here on the drums is some triplet blast beats. They're very untidy, but I think it's quite fun. Get ready. But this is proper headbanging material, so no, I'm glad you're enjoying it, dude. And I finish it off with the bit that I started with, so, but again just being played at a slower tempo, so we'll play this bit through. Little fake end in there, people thinking, oh god, it's 5 minutes, surely this track is done. I'm like, nope. So this is, like I said, pretty much a copy and paste of the very first bit of the drop, but I've added in the silent bits And what I've done is done a load of like Foley work and like reverse stuff down here. So if you, I expand those up. Really is just impacts and reverse shit going on here. So if I play this over the top. Subtle, but yeah. Finishes with the kind of same thing. So I've got a slightly different atmosphere here, just so it's not that same horrible like buzzing alien insect infestation patch. Just a little bit. I think I used a swell in Ashlight with this. Yeah. And again, just came to a nice finish with this, so kind of like kept the guitar riff going lo-fi, loads of chopped up stuff. Always good to hear that, dude. That's really good. Share some stuff when it's finished, man. Keen to hear what you're making. And just finish on the big old apocalyptic just outro. So yeah, that's Omega. One thing I skipped over with you guys was the kind of like guitar spazzy bits. So all I've done for that is lots of trash applied, so like fucking around with that, and I've done some stuff with Effectrix as well, which is really fun. So if I just solo this one, I'll show you how it works. Literally it's a 16 bar loop that can repeat, that syncs up with this, because it's on that end half there. So if I just switch to like 32, like it's pretty hard to hear what it's doing there, so I might go find another track that has that applied. And then I can modulate it, so basically any time, so you see how this thing kind of like plays through it one. So it keeps that grid in line, but I've got the loop thing here, so I can trigger the loop to play every now and again. And these red bars down here is a modulator assigned to the size, so whenever it's way down there, or I can stick it all up here. So just made it random because it's glitchy as fuck, these things. That was the intention, just to make it sound like it's coming through a busted old up radio and just glitching out basically. I think, yeah. Just really mangled it. because that's the outro, like just as like the, you know, the theme has been established and we're working up to the drop. I've just made it sound like, you know, like it's playing in a dark cave through a very bad radio. So stuck on Chromaverb just so I can get it nice and echoey. Channel EQ, I'm not sure what that's doing there because it's not really set anything. The auto filter is just my easy transition tool of just making something lo-fi, just kind of like, you know, toning it down. I use it on like any fill or riser or anything that's happening, is just to kind of, you know, turn, it's a high pass or low pass. No, low pass is when it lets the low through. Yeah, low pass is letting the lows through, so it'll be really bassy and kind of just roll off the high end, just so it kind of like sounds like it's fading away. And that, I believe, is everything in this track. Yeah, so this is something I like started up with that Warframe sample like end of last year. And just came back to it and thought, oh, okay, this could be something I could work on. Started making the drop and thought, oh, this sounds very similar to something else. So I'm like, I'll release it as a freebie. So probably looking at the time, I'm probably going to end the stream here, and I will get this out of stems because that's my next plan with this. Like, the guitar needs turning up, the drums need work, and I just need to mix it down. But literally me exporting stems is me going to be making small talk, waiting for kicks and everything else to just it'll be boring for me. Those that know me personally know that I'm not a big talker, so that'd be personally my idea of torture, is making small talk for an hour or half an hour online. So yeah, I'll finish up the stream here, and let me read that question though. So ask if there's a plugin VST, emulate guitar riffs. I think there is something. I've definitely seen, like, I use this thing from a bass, and I'm sure that there's a guitar equivalent of it. It's a Kontakt library called Gin Bass, and it really is super technical. So obviously it's a Dingwall bass, which is kind of like one of the big things for kind of like, you know, djenty and kind of like really heavy stuff. But one of the cool things, rather than it just, you know, playing it like a MIDI guitar where you got low notes, you can pick your alternate picking speed. And one of the really cool things I like about it, rather than having to be crazy with doing all the MIDI stuff, you can do key switch things. So if you do like a -C2 in your MIDI, that'll play like it's playing a pick. You can do hammer-ons, which is like when you can like play a note and then put the thing, like put your finger on, so it emulates that. Like, it doesn't sound like it's hitting the string again, it's more you pushing on the note. Pull off is an opposite of that, so hitting the string first and then taking your finger off. You do slides, you can do fast slides, you can do dead mutes, which is basically like harmonics, you know, so the real kind of like thuddy stuff, which is really cool. So yeah, I can highly recommend this if you need a virtual bass. I think maybe sync up with, I think Viridis does some stuff with guitar plugins, and there's similar stuff to this everywhere. I've seen sponsored ads all over Facebook when I bought this. Afterwards, it was like it's asking me to buy a guitar plugin to do a similar thing, but I'm sure there's a Kontakt library or something. Kontakt will probably be where you'll need to be looking, man. But yeah, if you can find the MIDI for a riff or something you can write, that'd be perfect. If not, then just hit your boy up and I can be your MIDI guitar processor for you. I can record it very slowly and pretty half-assed, as you hear from my recording here. Like, it's far from perfect, but it's also satisfying because I did it. Like, this is one of the like more complex riffs that I've needed to play. Like, you know, Bloodbearer was literally 4 notes, 5 notes maybe at most, and yeah, so I challenged myself to write more of a complicated lick. So yeah, man, if you can write the MIDI, because that's how I started off with this. I got the MIDI first and got inspired by them, that Thy Art Is Murder track. Yeah, if you can write the MIDI, I can play it and speed it up to match if I need to. Or I'll tell you what, just before I finish up, I'll give you guys a very sneaky peek of something that I've been working on with something you might know, or somebody you might know. The artist's name begins with K. He's put out a very cool EP recently. So yeah, let me copy that out. And this will be literally a snippet of this, like hopefully no more than 10 seconds. Hold on. Output. I'm going to send that to multi-output device. Crow and White Eyes, round 3. So I'll give you a very, very brief view of this. I'll keep the project off the screen in case any of you sneaky fuckers try and steal the URL. I don't know if you guys can look back over to my past streams or head onto YouTube or something. This is the one that I started off for the Growl FM competition. Obviously, I didn't enter it in time because the competition's closed, but I still have the stems lying about. I sent the stems, or a load of like unfinished projects over to Mr. Crow, and he picked out this one, and it's amazing. Okay, that's coming through, so I'll give you a little taste of this. I'll give you a little tickle of the drop, and I'm just going to end the stream. So happy with it turned out, though. So, yeah, love his stuff. Like, his latest EP was awesome, but yeah, this will be out very, very soon. Again, trying to get guitar into every track that I work on at the moment. Skip a tiny bit. I don't want to give much of it away. Keep it locked, everyone. Keep it locked. So, and just to give you a little sneak peek of another bit of the drop. Yeah. He has absolutely nailed that, and I cannot wait for that to be released. I'm having a photo shoot done very soon this weekend, getting the art sorted. So yeah, we're going big on this release. Very pleased with where this is headed next, and we've already got stems for number 4 in the works as well. So yeah, keep tuned. I'll be posting over all my socials when that comes a little bit closer. But yeah, let's call it there. Have a great weekend, everyone, and wherever you are, I hope you are celebrating 420 in full style. We can't in the UK because it's illegal. But yeah, enjoy, guys. And I will see you next week. Maybe sooner. Who knows? But yeah, have a good one, guys, and cheers for sticking around.